Hey everyone, it's been a long time since I've come on and done an update. I had a very busy month and I am recording outside, so I'm using a microphone to try to just get my voice and not all the background noises, and hopefully this works. Hopefully the gardener doesn't start anytime soon. Anyways, I wanted to share about a couple of things about this past month. First of all, as you know, I'm a tattooer, and when I'm working, I work with a cup of water that I dip my needles in. I may have mentioned this before, but I see these shapes in the water, and somebody asked me if anyone can see the shapes in the water or if it was something only I can see because of some sort of clear ability. And so I did film some of it, and I want to show some of what it looks like to me and stuff. But I think it's something like I'm going to show you how the water moves when I dip in the ink in the water. And I'm going to show how the images sort of appear. I know in one of the videos, I took some stills of the videos, and it shows, I can see like a raven in the water. I believe I saw a seahorse pretty clearly, and I started to see a face in the water. So it's called hydromancy when you can photograph water and you get images. I just think that it's something pretty powerful when the person's a little bit of their blood is actually in the water as well, which may seem gross to you, but as I'm working with tattoo needles, there is going to be some microscopic amounts of blood in the water. So anyways, I thought I'd share that because this is something that I've noticed for a long time. And what I can see in the water oftentimes is spirit animals, dragons, and human faces and things like that. So anyway, cars are going by. I hope that's not too loud. I went to New Mexico and I landed in Roswell. I visited my aunt in Ruidoso, which is flooding right now. And I went there about a month ago. While I was there, I'd wake up in the night and there would be just a crowd of people and beings around my bed, the way that it used to happen a lot in my room here. So I knew I needed to open a portal in New Mexico so that people who wanted to go into the light had a way to go. So I did open a portal there on my aunt's property in Ruidoso, and I saw, 50 to 100 people around me, but I also saw an ant being that was like this big, and I saw this being that looked very similar to my brother's first incarnation. I drew a stylized version of it, and I'm going to share that. It was one of the first prototypes of consciousness. I was in the first wave. My brother was in the second wave. So I'll show you what that looks like. I also got to go to Roswell, the museum, which I've never been to. I've been through Roswell, but never stopped and actually checked out the museum. And it was really cool to be there. I would say that since I've watched a lot of documentaries and movies about, ET crashes, I've read a lot of books. I didn't learn a whole lot that I didn't already know, but it was cool to actually be able to visually see with my eyes a little piece of the metal from the ET crash, the UFO crash back in, I think it was in 1947. Also, one thing I never saw before was, you hear about those doctors that remove implants that people have in their bodies. They had these like really microscopic images of some of the implants, and I never had seen this before. But the implants were not just metal. When you microscopically look at it, there was metal with like biological little tentacles that seemed to be probably how it melded with the human vessel, the human bodies that they were implanted into. I found that very interesting, and so that was something new that I I learned on my trip. It's morning. I'm just having my coffee. I did speak at Paracon, which I uploaded the video of my little talk at the Paranormal Convention in Ventura. That was this month. And I went to Mount Shasta for a meditation that was put on by Kim Copeland. Danny Shea did some of the meditations. Alice Long, I know there was many people involved. And it was really great. I didn't go to too many of the meditations, but I did go to one on the mountain at Bunny Flats with Danny Shea and Laverne, who they did a little talk and then a guided meditation, and there was some Hawaiian singing by Laverne, which was beautiful. Always gives you chills when you hear her. Which I've noticed, I've heard other people singing in bands and whatnot, and you can tell, like, Janis Joplin's got this like voice that gives you chills, and you could tell they've been mermaids before. They've got that siren song thing going on. Anyways, so when I did the meditation in Mount Shasta, I felt this weird feeling in my stomach, like when you're on a roller coaster and you drop really fast. So I believe I dropped into a portal and connected to higher frequencies there. And I just now, my intention is to continue to be connected to that frequency, even though I'm no longer in Mount Shasta. I saw Saint Germain, I saw Al, the gatekeeper, and others. I saw females and male. Like, it felt like a reunion, like reconnecting probably from a past life there. At night, I did have some procedures happen while I was in Mount Shasta. I've got Majestic 12 around me, domain, they're called. It felt like I got a nail in my head about right here and one in my ankle, and then I got cut under my rib cages. I don't know what all that was, but I'm sure there were just more upgrades happening. I brought my dog to Mount Shasta because he is an open channel and I wanted him to, come and be in that energy. I brought him to one of the meditations, and it seemed as though to me that a lot of people there were healing from grief from animals that they had lost, and they were really processing a bunch of that by touching my dog and petting my dog, and so I think my dog was there to give a little bit of healing to some people, which I thought was awesome. I know that somebody in the meditation had mentioned that they were seeing what looked like weird writing coming to them and things leaving. And to me, that sounded like they had received a download that they saw. That is what it looks like when I get downloads. And I'm not sure, but wherever I go, darn dogs, wherever I go, some of the Majestic 12 that are with me, they activate people around me, and I know that I help be a conduit for that. So that would be interesting to find out how many people noticed at the retreat that now they are receiving their own downloads individually. I did want to edit in that while in Mount Shasta, my friend and I, we hiked to the Fairy Falls, and that was so wonderful. Oh my God, every loud vehicle is going by right now. There was this, it was like a wall with moss on it right by the falls that had this pipe coming out of the ground with a basin. My friend Billy had shared with me a video that he filmed. I'm gonna put that in. I hope that's okay that I'm sharing this footage. And I know that how films work, that things can look like they're, wheels look like they're rolling backwards because of the video pictures. But he says that he filmed this because he saw with his eyes that the drips were falling differently off of this sink. And you can't you just want to touch this wall when you see it over by Fairy Falls, and you're just like, you know that you're surrounded by fairies right there. I went down to the falls. We were kind of like going in the water and everything. My friend took a picture of me and my dog, and I'm going to show two pictures because in one nothing's going on, but in the second one in the background there's this mist that travels through. Like we also got some interesting like orb type photos that you could say is lens flare and stuff, but I don't know how you explain this trail. But I did meditate there, and there was a portal. Now it didn't, so the falls comes down, and then the river turns and goes this way. The portal was the same direction from the falls, like straight into these rocks. Um, a portal opened. It was like this green energy, felt like it was just crystals inside, and like, I don't know. I felt like it was great. It was definitely a fairy portal. Oh my God, an even louder car. Wow. Anyways, I just wanted to share that bit before I moved on to the next topic about Mount Shasta. Um, like it was wonderful to go up and be with the people and get to like have dinner with everybody and talk about all our crazy stuff. But it was also really nice to break apart and get to hike to, we went to McLeod Mid Falls, we went to the Fairy Falls. You know, I meditated at different locations around Mount Shasta and just was tapping into this awesome energy. And I wanted to be sure that I didn't forget to mention that. I did new spirit guide art recently, and you know, it was interesting. I want to talk about the new movie, How to Train Your Dragon. My neighborhood has a lot of dogs. Sorry about that. The new movie was coming out, and I was so excited because I love anything that doesn't involve slaying dragons. I love the idea of humans and dragons living together. So I was really excited that the new movie was coming out. And in preparation, I watched all three cartoons again um, to just, I don't know, refresh my memory. And also, I wanted to compare if they were going to stick to the original script of the first movies or if this was going to be something that takes off from it. But it was very similar to the original movie, but it was acted with live humans and, you know, CGI. Um, so I get hired like the day after the movie comes out to do somebody's spirit guide art, which, you know, there's no synchronicities, right? And I'm looking at her guides, and I saw, you know, in How to Train Your Dragon, I think in the second or third one, the Night Fury has a female counterpart called a Light Fury, and it's a white dragon female. Um, and her guide was exactly one of those. There was some small differences, like in the cartoon. There's these like things that come off its head around the head, and hers I only saw two, like two ears, and it was real cute, just like in the movie. And it's like had that feminine like you know, eyelashes and everything, but still that look in the eyes, like you cannot mess with it. So sassy, you know, fierce, but adorable, you know. So I thought that was really interesting how the woman hired me just as that movie came out. Like I swear we have like autopilot, or we just, you know, we don't realize that um, we are channeling our higher selves and being moved to do something like hire me to do your spirit guide art just as the movie's coming out that's, you know, involved with the dragons. Her other guide was a dragon, a green one that looked more like the oriental body shape with a long body. And it was green. And then she actually didn't want me to draw her dragons. She had me draw the third guide I saw, which I believe is how her higher self appears. So it was a shapeshifter. It looked like a cloud that could shapeshift into a wolf, but it also appeared somewhere between. And the artwork is interesting. So I will share that here so everyone can see. I'm 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 never surprised anymore, although I feel like I kind of am, but the possibilities are endless, you know, in the universe. So of course I'm going to continue to see new things that I've never seen before, new beings. Um, and I should not be surprised, but somehow you still are, like going, wow, that's different. So, speaking of wolves, my tattoo shop has had activity that we are aware of for, this whole time. Lights turn on and off by themselves and things. It never seems to be negative though. And I have been filming, or not filming, I was in a Zoom so I could see myself in the screen. And I saw something in my shop go up and over some shelves that I've got. And all I saw, it was very quick and it was gray, and I was wishing that I was filming because I would have caught it on film. But a couple of days ago, a guy that works for me said he saw something run from the trash can to the bathroom, which is the area that we always feel that it is. And so I had my daughter look, and she said she didn't know what it was, but I said, well, what does it look like? At all. Anyways, I could have looked myself, but it's just faster to ask my daughter. So she tells me that, when Lupin in the Harry Potter movies, the character Lupin turns into a werewolf, she goes, it looks like that, like a human wolf thing. So then the next day I talked to Michael Shaman and I asked him about it, and he said, well, it looks scary, but it's not. And I'm like, clearly, because it doesn't do anything bad to us. So again, it's like, I don't want one of the guys at my shop to even know about this because he gets scared very easily. But you have to always discern, what are they doing? What is the being doing compared to what it looks like? Is it hurting you? Is it helping you? That kind of thing. So Michael Shaman, I didn't tell him what Morgan had said it looked like. And he said that it was a Native American. It was a human who lived a long time ago, because this area of where I live had a lot of Native Americans here. I can't remember Chumash, and I'm trying to think of the other. I know the Chumash were here. But anyway, so he passed, and then he identified strongly with the wolf energy, and he wants to be this, like, morphed into sort of a wolf human. So he said that without me even saying that that's, what Morgan said. But she didn't know what he was. Like, she couldn't determine whether he had been human or what exactly he was, but we all knew that it wasn't a negative being or anything, malevolent. And in fact, he said that he protects us, like he runs off any negative energies that come around. And he likes being there, and he knows he can go in the light, but he doesn't want to. So we're just going to call him Wolfie, and he's going to be our shop spirit. But don't tell the guys that work for me, because they will get scared. They are not open-minded yet enough. They will be. So I think that was everything that I wanted to sort of talk about and update about my month. I have been hired to do 2 more spirit guide arts. So I'm in the process of one, and then I'll have another one. So we'll see how the next month goes, and if I'll have any more updates. And of course, anyone who has anything that they want to share about what I've talked about, feel free to drop it in the comments. Or if you've got any questions that I can answer, write it in the comments. I do see them and I do respond. And if there's any topics that you want me to cover in a video, of course, I would be only too happy to do that for you. So thanks for watching the video. Be sure to like and comment, share the channel with anyone who you think would be interested in these topics about spirit guides, and portals and out-of-body, astral, afterlife topics and the such. All right. Thank you so much. And I hope everyone has a beautiful day.